Okay. So today also I wanted to show you the similar kind of example, but we will do a little bit more. Okay. Have you heard about dynamic routing? It's very common word in middleware.
Oh, yes, Ramana.
Okay. Normally, in simple words, dynamic routing means if you use a mediator, you will put some condition and you will route to multiple partner links. So here also we can create multiple business services, and inside the proxy service we have to apply some condition and we have to route to the different services. Okay, very similar to the yesterday's example. Okay, right. So here what I wanted to do now in okay, we can call it as either content based routing or a dynamic routing. Both are same. Based on a input content, my proxy service have to decide which business service should use. The request should be forwarded to which service. So here I have created two dummy services, a deposit service and withdrawal service. Let me deploy these two services and we will test it and we will understand the functionality, how it is working. Then we'll create our OSB project to invoke these two services. రవి నిన్న రిమోట్ సర్వర్ అసలు వర్క్ అవ్వలేదా?
నైట్ 12 o'clock అలా వర్క్ అయింది. నేను ఇంకా పడుకునేటప్పుడు చూసాను అనమాట.
ఎందుకంటే అది మన చేతిలో ఉండదు, ఇంకా అది దానికి నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎక్కువ. ఎవరో ఏదో స్టూడెంట్ ఏ ఇన్ఫినిటీ రూపు రాస్తాడో అది తిరిగి షట్ డౌన్ అయిపోతుంది.
యాక్చువల్గా నాది సర్వర్ వర్క్ అవడం లేదు. ఒకసారి ఇంకా మొత్తం వ్యాలిడిటీ అయిపోతుంది అనమాట ల్యాప్.
మనం యాక్చువల్గా ఎటు 2 days బ్రేక్ తీసుకుంటున్నాం కనుక ఈ 2 daysలో పాసిబిలిటీ ఉంటే ఒకసారి ఆ సర్వర్ కూడా చూడండి. లోకల్ సర్వర్ బెటర్, మీకు స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ యాక్సెస్ ఉంటుంది, వితౌట్ ఇంటర్నెట్ వర్క్ చేసుకోవచ్చు.
అది నేను చూస్తాను. యాక్చువల్గా నాది విండోస్ 10 అనమాట. నేను అంతా సి డ్రైవ్లోనే ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకున్న డేటా అంతా ఉంది. వాడికి ఫోన్ చేస్తే డెల్ వాడికి కొంచెం నాకు ఫార్మాట్ చేయడం తెలియదు అనమాట. ఇది అంటే విండోస్ 10ది సిడి కాదనమాట, మామూలుగా ఇన్బిల్ట్ గా వాడు ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసేస్తాడు.
రీస్టోర్ పాయింట్ నుంచి మళ్ళీ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేసుకోవచ్చా?
సిడి ఏం అవసరం లేదు, మామూలుగా ఇన్బిల్ట్ గానే ఉంటుంది మెమరీ.
Okay, I have deployed this deposit and withdrawal services. Let's test it. So this is a dummy service with this withdrawal and deposit service, both are dummy service. whatever the input you give, it will by default give the response as withdrawal service. As it is withdrawal, it will respond back as withdrawal transaction is success. If it is a deposit service, deposit transaction is success. So here what I wanted to show you, in a transaction element I will give WD so that it should route to withdrawal service. If I give DEP, it should route to deposit service. Okay, just to show how the condition will work. Okay, so here what I wanted to show you now, consider this is withdrawal service and this is deposit service. So consider this is one WD business service. This is DEP business service. Okay, so here we are creating two business service. So for this I will use withdrawal.whistle. Here I'll use dep.whistle. Okay, so here both withdrawal.whistle and deposit.whistle have the similar kind of elements, similar kind of output. Nothing is changed except the namespace. Hope you know the importance of namespace in XML based technologies. Okay,
Yes.
right? So both are same, but the namespace is different. Now here I wanted to create one proxy service. For this proxy service, like yesterday's class, I can create a new whistle. But this time what I wanted to do, I wanted to reuse any existing whistle. So for this proxy service also I am using the existing deposit whistle. So now from this proxy service, if I am calling deposit service, I can directly call it because both the whistles, both the namespace, everything is same. But if I am calling the withdrawal service, I need to apply some transformation, right? I need to apply the transformation. Why? Because even though elements are same, but the namespace is different. So here while applying the transformation, I am converting deposit namespace to withdrawal namespace. Okay, so by the time of request I am applying a transformation and it will forward the request to this one and it will give some response back. Again here also same. Okay, now what will happen, as we discussed, proxy service will have two body variables, request body and the response body. Okay, so here we are sending a deposit request and it will automatically update the response body whenever it receives a response from the target service. So same response we will return back from the proxy service back. But here again for this withdrawal service I need to apply the transformation. So for request I need to apply the transformation and for the response also I need to apply the transformation. Why? Because it will overwrite my body variable with withdrawal namespace. That withdrawal namespace I cannot return back to the client. Why? Because client is expecting deposit namespace. Okay. So same similar kind of yesterday's example only. Here we will add few more things. This is what I wanted to show you now. So creating a new OSB project, content based routing. Okay, content based routing, and as usual here we need to create some folder structure like proxy, business, and Vestal schema, and one more transformation. Now create a new business service. What it is, withdrawal service. Just copy this Vistal and create a new business service, WD some BS, withdrawal BS. And I wanted to create it as a Vistal web service, and I wanted to consume the Vistal from the URI. Yes, save it. Okay, and now see here, this is Visdal and this is XST, but it is showing different names, right? So in this case, if you did not modify the name of this Vistal and schema by the time of creating a deposit business service, again it will download new Vistal and schema. If the name matches, it will override the existing Vistal and it will create only one Vistal for both. You understood my point? Same naming convention it is using for deposit also. So if that is the case, if I download directly, it will overwrite this file. So here what I wanted to do, first I wanted to rename this schema as wd.xst and rename this Vistal as wd.vistal. Move this schema to schema location and Vistal to Vistal location. Now I'm creating a new business service, deposit business service. Again it is Vistal based web service, but I need a deposit web service URL. Again I wanted to consume. See, same naming convention it is using, so it may override the existing one. So this is deposit XST, deposit Vistal, this XST to schema, Vistal to Vistal. Okay, now I wanted to create a new proxy service like some transaction PS, and for this proxy service I wanted to choose any existing Vistal. Either you can create a new Vistal for your proxy or you can choose existing. As we discussed, I am choosing the deposit Vistal, so that when you are invoking a withdrawal service you need to apply the transformation. So here go to the message flow and right click on this start node, insert into. There are four options available for me in start node. Either I can use conditional branch, operational branch, pipeline pair, route node. Route node we already saw. So route node, whenever you are if you wanted to forward the request to any business service, you can directly use the route node. So it is like an invoke. It's not like an invoke, it's like a scope activity. Inside the scope, you can write few more actions. Pipeline pair also such kind of action. In business service, either you can use route node or pipeline pair node, or both you can use. Okay, we will see many examples on pipeline pair also. And operational branch is like based on the operation selected by the time of invoking proxy service, you can route your service to associated target service based on the operation. And conditional branch, here I am choosing the conditional branch because based on a condition I wanted to route my service. So here I am naming it as check transaction. Okay, and go to condition.
రమణ
చెప్పండి.
యాక్చువల్గా ఒక చిన్న డౌట్, ఫర్ రౌటింగ్ కి సపరేట్ యాక్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి, సపరేట్ యాక్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి.
కరెక్ట్. మీకు డిఫరెన్సెస్
అంటే ఎప్పుడు ఎలా యూజ్ చేసి
అది మనం ఫర్దర్ డిస్కస్ చేసుకుందామా ఈ రోజే కాకుండా?
ఓకే 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 ఫైన్.
నేను పైప్ లైన్ పేరు కూడా చెప్పిన తర్వాత మీకు క్లారిటీ వస్తుంది. అది మనం ఇంకా స్టార్ట్ చేయలేదు కనుక మీకు అంత క్లారిటీ రాదు. నేను ఎంత చెప్పినా కూడా మీకు ఎక్కడో చిన్న బ్లైండ్ స్పాట్ మిగిలిపోతుంది. ఓకే, సో నౌ ఇన్ అ కండిషన్ you can choose the X path, like which element you wanted to compare. So I wanted to compare from input this transaction element I wanted to compare, and here I gave only the X path, but I have to apply this X path on certain variable like body variable, hidden variable, inbound or outbound, whatever variable you are using. So here I wanted to apply this X path on body variable. After that we have a branch 1 and a default. If the condition these branches, you can add n number of branches as many you want. Okay, but default is mandatory. If none of the conditions satisfied, it will directly go to the default. As I have only 2 services, I am using only 2 branches. And in first branch I wanted to transform to the deposit, and operator, which operator you want, like equals to, not equals to, less than, whatever any logical operator you want. And the value here I'm giving DEP. So in the transaction element the input is DEP, then it should go to deposit service. So now in this branch I'm adding one route node. Now inside the route node I'm using routing action. In this routing action I wanted to browse this deposit service, and the operation is process. As I have only 2, I need not to give the condition for the default. Inside the default I'm adding one route node, and inside this route, as usual, routing action. And in this routing action I am choosing withdrawal service. The operation is process. Okay, now the problem is here, to invoke the withdrawal service I should not invoke directly, okay, without any transformation. But let's see what will happen if I invoke directly. Okay, let me run this proxy service.
వన్ మోర్ థింగ్, మనం ఇప్పుడు డైరెక్ట్ ప్రాక్సీ సర్వీస్ ని డిప్లాయ్ చేసామనుకో, నువ్వు ఇప్పుడు డిప్లాయ్ చేసినట్లే కదా ఇప్పుడు రన్ ఆన్ సర్వర్ అంటే.
ఇది డిప్లాయ్ అయిన తర్వాత మనకి టెక్స్ట్ కన్సోల్ వస్తుంది ఇక్కడ.
అదే ఇప్పుడు డైరెక్ట్ గా ప్రాక్సీ సర్వీస్ ని రన్ చేసామనుకో మొత్తం ప్రాజెక్ట్ మొత్తం డిప్లాయ్ అయిపోతుందా?
ఎస్, ప్రాజెక్ట్ మొత్తం డిప్లాయ్ అవుతుంది.
ఓకే ఓకే, నో నీడ్ టు డిప్లాయ్ అదర్ సర్వీసెస్ సంథింగ్ డిప్లాయ్.
కంప్లీట్ డిపెండెంట్ సర్వీసెస్ అని డిప్లాయ్ అయిపోతాయి.
ఓకే
ఓకే,
డిపెండెంట్ లేకుంటే మనం మళ్ళీ
డిపెండెంట్ లేకపోతే
చేసుకోవాల్సిందే కదా.
డిపెండెంట్ లేకపోతే ఒక ప్రాజెక్ట్ డిప్లాయ్ అవుతుంది. దీని డిపెండెన్సీ అదర్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో ఉందంటే అది కూడా డిప్లాయ్ అవుతుంది.
ఓకే ఓకే.
ఇక్కడ మనకి నాట్ లైక్ సోవా. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇన్ సోవా I have a project 1 and project 2. Okay, in project 1 I wanted to access the some resource of project 2. Like in project 1 I have a BPL 1, in project 2 I have a BPL 2. From BPL 1 you wanted to call the BPL 2. First you have to deploy the project 2 and you have to get the WSDL of the project 2. Then you have to create a partner link in project 1. Like this you have to call the project 2. But in OSB it's not like that. It's like everything is under one configuration. That's the concept of configuration project here. So here I have three projects I have. But if you expand this configuration under services, proxy service, all the proxy services available here, and business service, all the business services available here. So from this add PS I can call only one business service. Okay, it's kind of everything is under one root, not like these are different projects. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, then now here some account number 1234 and amount some 50. This transaction I am giving DEP and execute. Okay, I got the responses deposit transaction success. So my input is deposit service namespace and output also deposit service namespace, so no issue. And here I wanted to give some WD in the transaction and execute it again. See what happened here. It is throwing an error. Why? Because here I am sending a deposit service namespace, but from the target I will get a withdrawal service namespace. So it is trying to override the body variable. Somewhere it is failing to overwrite it because of the namespace issue. Okay, so here invocation trace you can also check here. Immediately you have to see, but you cannot see the invocation trace of old instances. So in route node 2 response pipeline there was an issue in response pipeline. So it sent a request and the system thrown an error because of mismatch of namespace. Okay, and
Ravana, yesterday whenever we thrown that namespace issue, it is giving from SOVA, it is as a NAN, something like that. But
yeah,
today we are getting error. Is there any different things?
It's based on your service validation. Inside your service you may write some business logic. So here withdrawal service we called, and we'll see the response what it given back. And this is see, even it did not some no, we sent some different input, right? Just a moment. here with the business service. Oh, see, operation I did not select properly. Now this error is from OSB itself. Got it. I have selected the service, but I forgot to select the operation. So within the proxy, it is showing some internal error. It did not give any specific message. Okay. Now we will run this service. So this time it did not reach to the withdrawal service. Now in a transaction, I wanted to give a WD. Now server automatically returns withdrawal transaction success. Why? Because there is no validation in the system. So here what I wanted to do, I wanted to add a payload validation in the server service. Okay. Now again we will submit the same request. Here also it is giving withdrawal transaction success only. Server service not throwing any error. But only one request it is showing here.
Check deposit, check the endpoint error in the service box.
Endpoint error and at least ఇది ఒక error message ఇవ్వాలి కదా.
అది డిపాజిట్ రీడైరెక్ట్ అవుతాం, వేరే సర్వీస్ రీడైరెక్ట్ అవుతాం చూడండి సార్. ఎండ్ పాయింట్ ఎర్రర్ చూడండి ఒకసారి, అది డిజిటల్ ఓపెన్ చేసి.
ఓకే ఓకే. బట్ విత్డ్రాల్ సక్సెస్ మెసేజ్ మనకి ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది? అది డిపాజిట్ వెళ్ళకపోతే
ఒకసారి అదే సర్వర్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ క్లిక్ చేయండి చెప్తాను.
ఓకే వచ్చింది, రిఫ్రెష్ అవ్వట్లేదు అంతే. So here also people received this request, and as there is no validation, as there is no business logic inside the people, it is simply resulting with real transaction success. Okay, but anyway here OSB returns a response like withdrawal transaction success and the namespace is withdrawal service. But the thing is, I should not return this response back to the client because client is expecting a deposit namespace, but it's send back the withdrawal namespace. So here what I have to do, in request I need to apply a transformation. So X query transformation like deposit namespace to DEP, sorry, withdrawal namespace request transformation. My deposit request is processed and the target is withdrawal request.
ఆటోమ్యాప్ లేదా?
ఆటోమ్యాప్ లైక్ XSLT.
ఆటోమ్యాప్ ఉందా అంటున్నా.
దీనికి ఆటోమ్యాప్ కూడా ఉంటుంది. రూట్ ఎలిమెంట్ మ్యాప్ చేస్తే ఆటోమేటిక్ అయిపోతుంది. బట్ నేను 3 ఎలిమెంట్స్ కనుక డైరెక్ట్ గా చేస్తాను. ఓకే. Likewise I need one more see, it is variable test it is showing inside content based routing. I want WD namespace to DAP namespace response transformation. Here withdrawal response, DEP response. No, it is not accepted. That is not accepted. Okay. Now switch to OSB perspective view. And in request transformation, as usual yesterday, I am using a replace. Inside the replace, I want to replace the whole content of the body. Input variable is body only, and I wanted to replace the node content only, not the entire node. And expression, I wanted to use this X query. Deposit to withdrawal namespace transformation, and input is process. Okay, and likewise, uh, now you need to concentrate here a little more. Here in response transformation also, same dot and body variable, replace node content and expression, and X query resource withdrawal transformation. But here the parameter what it is expecting, it is expecting a process response element which is having withdrawal namespace. If you drag and drop this process response, it is a deposit namespace, not the withdrawal namespace. By the time of configuring your proxy service, based on a WSDL, it will initialize your request body and a response body. So here process response, if you give, what will happen, we'll see. Okay, here I directly drag and drop this process response. So at a design time, it is deposit namespace, but at runtime, it will be override with withdrawal namespace. Okay, so we'll see what is happening now. See, it is throwing an error. Why? Because OSB replace action failed, updating the variable body, error passing, expected exactly one item, got 0 item. Because it is expecting a namespace of withdrawal, but we sent the namespace of deposit, so that my XPath failed. Okay, but how can I get the withdrawal namespace? What kind of response it is returning? Okay, here it is not displaying any namespace. So here what we can do, there are two ways. If you know the names, if you have the namespace, you can give the namespace. Otherwise, here what I'm doing, I'm giving the star. If you give the star, unknown namespace, whatever the available namespace, it will take. Okay, like a wildcard character. This is one of the wildcard character. Now we will see what is happening. Okay, this time I got a withdrawal transaction success message along with the deposit service message. Okay, but in real time this is not a best practice to give star here. Okay, so what will happen if you give the star? It will try to search all the available namespaces imported into the service. So here we are seeing variable structure. Along with that we have two more tabs, namespace definition and xquery function. Just go to the namespace definition. These many namespaces it will search first. Among them it will fetch anyone. So instead of that, what we can do, you can define your own namespace. So which namespace you are expecting in schema withdrawal service? This is the target namespace of my withdrawal service. Copy it and go to the proxy. Here, go to namespace definition. You can add your namespace. So the prefix I am giving as WD, namespace URI is this one. So now I have added one user defined namespace WD. Now here in my XPath, instead of star I can give WD. Okay. Okay, again I got withdrawal success response with deposit namespace. This is what we are expecting, right? Deposit request and deposit response from a proxy service, but in between the proxy service it is applying some transformation from deposit namespace to withdrawal namespace for the request. Again in the response also withdrawal response to the deposit response message. Okay, right. Now we will see in SB console. Okay, in SB console project explorer our content based routing also deployed. There are few projects, in folders. Go to the proxy folder. Here you can see our transaction proxy service. Okay, and here if you want you can do any kind of change, like if you go to the business service, and in a withdrawal business service you can change the endpoint URI, and whatever you wanted to change, first you have to create the session. So these things we will see in next class. So in next class I'm not using Eclipse anywhere. I wanted to create a new project directly in a SB console, and after that I wanted to export a jar file and I'll import into the Eclipse. So here also, if you wanted to import this jar file in some other system, I mean some other server, right click, export OSB configuration jar. And here the advantage, multiple jar files you can export into one jar file, multiple projects you can export into one jar file. So I wanted to export only this content based routing, and browse the location where you want to export, deploy. content based routing, finish. So it will create one jar file. This jar file you can directly import into SP console. So here what I wanted to do, create a session and go to the projects. I wanted to delete this content based routing first. Okay, it's deleted. Now there is no content based routing project in my Eclipse. And again,
You want to delete it, can use it.
it's like a deployment.
We can overwrite it, right?
Overwrite also, yes, we can do.
Okay.
Yes, we can do. So here I wanted to import the resource. That create a session and choose file. Content based routing jar. Next, import. That's it. It's imported already. It is asking you to, do you want import another project, and activate it. So every time if you do any changes in SB console, you need to give some comments so that based on that you can identify which session has what kind of changes. So here imported content based routing, like where am I now? Okay, submit it. So here it will create a number of sessions. My session comment is this one. If you don't want, you can roll back it. Click to undo this task. Okay. So now go to Project Explorer. Again, I got this content based routing. Again, go to the proxy service, and you can test this project from here. Okay. Likewise, we can export from Eclipse and we can import into the SP console. And also from here you can export the project and you can import into the Eclipse. So tomorrow, next class, we will create a new project directly in SB console. Then we will import into Eclipse. Okay. So that's all for today. Any more questions? Nothing, right?
Ramana,
Yes.
hello. కెన్ యూ డూ వన్ ఫేవర్ అట్లీస్ట్ సర్వర్ వచ్చేంత వరకు ఈ జార్స్ అయితే క్రియేట్ చేసావు కదా అవి డ్రైవ్ లో వేస్తావా? నేను చూసుకోవడానికి ఉంటుంది.
నేను ఆల్రెడీ నిన్నే డ్రైవ్ లో పెట్టాను, సరే లేదు.
ఓకే
వచ్చింది
అదొకటే చూడలేదు.
ఆ వీడియోస్ వచ్చి జార్ ఫైల్స్ కూడా వచ్చాయి.
నేను మొత్తం
వీడియోస్ ఉంటే చూసాను.
నేను ఏదైతే ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ చేశానో ప్రాజెక్ట్ వర్క్ స్పేస్ పెట్టేశాను అందులో డైరెక్ట్. మీకు కావాలి అంటే నేను ఈ డమ్మీ సర్వీసెస్ కూడా పెడతాను. నేను ఏంటంటే అప్పటికప్పుడు సావోలో ప్రాజెక్ట్ చేసి పెట్టడం ఎందుకని చెప్పి ముందుగా ప్రిపేర్ చేసి పెట్టుకుంటున్నాను అనమాట ఈ సార్ ఫైల్స్. ఈ సోవా సార్ ఫైల్స్ కూడా పెడతాను మీకు ఇవి కూడా కావాలంటే. లేదు ఎనీ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ సరే సరే అయితే అది ఉంటే మీరు యాక్చువల్గా సేమ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీరు మళ్ళీ ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసుకోవచ్చు ఆ జార్ ఫైల్స్ ఉంటే. ఓకే అయితే నేను ఇవి కూడా అప్లోడ్ చేస్తాను. ఓకే
అదే రేపు ఒక్కటే క్లాస్, రేపు క్లాస్.
ఓకే నో ప్రాబ్లం. అండ్ డే ఆఫ్టర్ టుమారో మన గ్రూప్ చాట్ లో మెసేజ్ పెట్టుకుని దాన్ని బట్టి స్కెడ్యూల్ చేసుకుందాం.
ఓకే
ఓకే దెన్ బాయ్.
ఓకే బాయ్.